Everybody want to stand and pledge allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, do we have an approval for the agenda? I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Approval of May minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second reading. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Approval of work order in the amount $1755.50.
Motion to approve.
We have a second. I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Old business. Roads.
Nothing to report.
Moving right along. New business, voting ballots.
Okay, today is the start of the voting process. We didn't have any candidates enter their names, so we only have 2 candidates that are running, and you heard from them last weekend. They're present at the end of the table, Ron and Craig. And today, Katie's located there, and she has a list of ballots. Ballots are numbered 1 through 1,000. And when you get the ballot and read it, they're asking to vote for not more than 2 people. So your choices are to vote for both of them, vote for one of them, and of course, if you don't vote for any of them, it's null and void. We are checking the records to see that the people who are getting the ballots today are current in their property owner's dues, and this process will continue. You can vote today and place it in the ballot box. You can take it home and mail it in or drop it off at the office. And then finally, you can go to the office and spread the word that the ballots are available at the office during regular business hours. We also have secured Brown Oaks and Young out of Altoona, PA. They are our auditors. They'll be conducting and overseeing the validity of the voting, so that the general meeting, he will show up and we'll give you the exact count in regard to who was won. What's on the line, since we only have 2 candidates and there are 2 openings, is the person who receives the most votes will get a 3-year term, and the person who receives the second most will get a 2-year term. On the corporate side, the developer will be placing Chris Barnhart up for nomination, and he'll be put in for a 3-year term. That's it.
So we're not having a vote in July?
No. The voting is done prior to that.
Up to that day.
Up to that day. Now, you can bring your ballots in on that day, but it makes it complicated for the overseer. What he would have to do is take your ballots and then do a last minute count prior to that.
So what if I come in July and I want to nominate my mother for the board? Because you can make a nomination on that day.
No, that's been changed.
So, huh?
We changed that. In the last newsletter, we put a deadline on the candidacy. And that passed on June 1st. And we heard from nobody. So there are no nominations from the floor, is what I'm saying.
Then the whole process has changed.
Yes.
And we're no longer having a vote in July. Now we have a vote in June.
Well, you vote up until the, it just starts earlier.
30 days prior to.
I understand the 30 days prior, but it's always been as long as I've been here.
Yeah, but
Does that
that's,
change with the bylaws?
it's going to, there are lots of changes on the bylaws, and I'll be reporting on that, under new business.
So I have to vote today.
Not necessarily. You can come to the office and pick your ballots up, you can take your ballots home and turn them up at the office.
We can vote next month.
You can vote next month. You have from now to the 3rd weekend in July to do that.
Instead of turning in proxies, you're gonna turn in your actual ballot. You're gonna vote for who you want for this month, not give your proxy to somebody else to vote for you. This opens it up for 30 days for people to be able to make it in a vote instead of only on that Saturday. All right, moving right along, roads and.
I got a question.
We're not doing questions and answers right now, so we're just gonna move forward at the end.
It's part of the voting, and you just said, we need to call on everybody.
And I'm not calling on anybody right now until we get to the end, until we get to a question. Just hold it and we'll answer it. If it doesn't get answered, ask it at the end. Roads and security. Lauren, Unido would like to discuss a little something about that. You got 3 minutes, sir.
Yes. Go along.
Watch the clock. I think this last situation with security doesn't really flush that well. You don't treat a veteran, a good neighbor, a great property owner, and a good friend the way he was treated. Now, don't all look at me like I don't know what I'm talking about. I do know what I'm talking about. It should have been handled in a more diplomatic way, and that gentleman still could be a great security officer. Sorry, but no, doesn't cut it. Maybe somewhere in your employee manual, might be a paragraph in there about how to treat an employee and don't mistreat him in front of other people. Is that in your employee manual?
There's 2 sides to every story.
There's actually 2 sides,
And then
so I
there's
realize that
truth.
I'm not finished yet. I'm gonna use my 3 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm sure I'm not the only one in here that feels that way. Now, as far as roads, nothing to report. That's disheartening. That's terrible, as a matter of fact. Nothing to report. Why even have these meetings? And I'll tell you something else too. We cut down trees in here. I don't know who cuts them, it doesn't really matter. A tree falls, it's cut up. But do we have to let it lay in the ditch? A year ago, a couple of ladies brought up the fact about all the crap in the common areas lying on properties and whatever. Can't we get an outfit in here and say, hey, free wood, do some select cutting, open up the common grounds? Is that out of the question? I don't think so. And yes, I'm sorry, but there is two sides to the story.
There is two sides.
Sure there is.
It's not as bad as what you have heard. Moving right along. It's being brought up, somebody would like the work hours for outside contractors to be extended Monday through Friday till 7:30. I don't think it's official, but I tell them no work on Sundays. But I don't think that's written down that they can't work on Sundays. But someone would like to have it changed from 6 to 7:30. And that's entirely up to you guys if you do that. We discussed it once, it's been tabled, and didn't go any further. Brought up again. Guys, you have any thoughts on it?
I'd like to make a motion to make it from 8 o'clock in the mornings. I think 6 o'clock is too early for a lot of people to work, trying to get up and go to work during the week. Till about 7:30 at night, Monday through Friday. Kind of leave the weekends alone, except the property owners, they have to do work on that. This is for contractors only.
Question? What about
Question on the motion.
What?
I got a question on the motion. It's good, but normally every place else is from 7 AM till whatever time, late afternoon or whatever. But you gotta keep in mind, right now, we're entering the hottest days there are for the year. And this summer is gonna be especially hot, where a lot of 80, 90-degree temps. For a contractor to get started at 6 or 6:30 AM is a great relief. Because then by the time it gets to 2 or 3, they're worn out from the heat. So I think you need to take that into consideration.
What's your name, sir?
Greg, Keller, 282 Harmony Drive.
The motion's on the floor, but we did not talk about Saturday.
We want to include that Monday through Saturday.
That's up to you guys.
I agree. I mean, it's not especially if you're a camper, you need something.
Right, I'll second your motion, to begin at 8 AM and be finished at 7:30. To include Saturdays, no Sundays for on-site contractors.
All in favor?
Sir, the only reason we're making this rule is eventually it'll be placed in the code of conduct. We're not talking about contractors going interiorly and working on paneling or doing stuff like that. We're talking about chainsaws and lawn noise is what it's being implemented for. And by doing this, we have a control mechanism in place so that if a guy's up at 6 o'clock in the morning right next to you and he's got the tree down with a chainsaw, we can stop him. Okay, and in terms of contractors, running saws in the inside of the building, stuff like that, we're not going to enforce that.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a second, do we have an all in favor? All right.
All right.
Bill? Motion carried. Till 7:30 at night. Is that Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday? Okay, moving right along. Adding all board members to be able to sign checks. We need a motion for that.
I'll just make a motion that all board members shall authorize to sign checks. This way, there's somebody always here to sign checks.
We have a second. All in favor? Motion carried. $500 processing fee clarification. somebody buys a piece of property at a tax sale, it owes $13,000 in dues. The dues are being disregarded, and we have a $500 processing fee. I believe back in the day, it used to be 200, and then it was discussed and changed to 500. And some people aren't 100% sure, is it 200 or 500? And this is to clarify that it's a $500 processing fee, not a forgiveness dues fee. If you're buying property, it's not to forgive your dues, it's somebody else's dues, so therefore that can't be. So it's a processing fee. And that's for only tax sale items, only tax sale properties. You can do that. We run along bylaws, status and introduction. Yes, hold your thoughts there, Lauren. We'll get to you in a minute. Bylaws.
The Board of Directors is very close to getting a copy of the bylaws into your hands. But the first order of business today, if you are here and you serve on the bylaws committee as a volunteer, would you please stand up? Ladies and gentlemen, 3 people that are standing is what counts us out. And actually, some minor expenses that they're not charging the Property Owners Association for. We met periodically through the winter, rain, snow, you name it, and their dedication, it should go without saying that this association owes them a world of thanks. So I'd like to applaud them. We took that and ran with it and we forwarded it to our attorney, Chris Moreland. Chris Moreland has now sent a copy with 2 minor suggestions. One of which is he thought that something was a little too wordy, which after reading it I can understand. And there was an Appendix B misunderstanding. I think what we're going to do is eliminate that Appendix B. Once that is done, we don't really have a timetable for that, but we'll be making.
Ron's coming up Monday and we'll have.
Yeah, well, we should have that finished no later than Monday sometime, no later than Tuesday, and it should be available shortly after, towards the end of next week. For
Okay.
everybody to view.
May want it posted on the website and it will be posted at the office for us.
All right, so we have a copy on the website and a copy at our office. In addition to that, we will be mailing those bylaws out to all of you. Now, the trick is this. After you read that, it is necessary to get 51% of you to adopt that policy. That's pretty tough to do. When you look at the history of the elections that we've had here, we never get close to 51%. So I believe that if that fails, then the percentage of approval gets reduced. I'm not sure by how much, but we keep on doing this until we get it right. What I'm saying is that's a very, very expensive proposition because I'm not sure if I have to mail it out every time. It's a very, very big document and the postage is going to be horrendous. Yeah, and in accordance with the bylaws, there has to be a discussion on those too. So we will be keeping you informed in regard to what's going to happen. But I guess I'm urging you now that after you take a look at that and you have your opinion on it, get out and tell your neighbors that we need them to get this approved. That's all I have on that.
Delinquents.
Last thing is delinquents. I always give an update in regard to delinquents. The bottom line is this. So far, through our attorney fees and our efforts, we have spent $7,989.93, roughly $8,000. And we have collected $30,606.45. So we're approaching about 70%, and that's paying off very, very well. And again, I always say this, that's through the efforts of the office staff. They're doing an excellent job.
Any questions? Yes, Joe?
I'm at voting, do I still get one per lot?
Yes.
Sir, back.
Yeah, question on the bylaws and the voting. Is the voting part of the bylaws?
Voting will be part of the bylaw.
They're not now?
Yes.
Okay, and also, for the voting, you have within that nobody can be written in for the voting. Like today, there was only 2 candidates to vote for, but there was no space for a writing candidate.
No, there's space for a candidate to run. Okay, at any time, if you want to run for the board, you come to the office and say, I would like to be a candidate for the board in 2025. Okay, what's not taking place is, well, it is taking place. We put it in the letter early enough with X amount of days for notification to the public and say, if you're interested in running, please notify our office. That occurred this year and nobody said they were going to run.
But should there still be a place for a writing candidate?
No,
Is that what the lawyer said?
the lawyer adopted what we put in the voting structure within the bylaws. He approved that. It's pretty lengthy. When you get your bylaws, you can read it over and you'll see what it says.
Anybody else? Adjourn this meeting.
What? I have a question, it has nothing to do with this stuff. When we cut all that, I cut those, with the original, with the big, thick, thorns on down by the shed that we were painting up there, the guard shack and that. I asked you last meeting, if the guys can pull that stuff away, it's still laying up there, they're even weeding it around.
Shaking his head, it'll get done, don't you worry.
Okay.
Got it.
Also,
We need credit.
all right, also, I knew you were sick.
We'll get taken care of.
Okay, the other thing is, we have all, this has nothing to do with this meeting, I'm just asking. We have movie paint, black paint left over, can we paint the black wheels? They're red now, can we straighten down and paint black?
Bill, your wagon done front by the gate, hold the logs, they have red wheels, and the girls paint them black.
Yes.
Okay.
That's another thing I'd like to do.
They do a great job.
The people that are doing that, they're putting up the flags, they put up the Easter decorations, they put up that great big wreath. Stand up.
Stand up. We're missing one, her husband has. Getting the flag, we're fucking the flag.
Well, they're so dirty. They said they were gonna replace the flag, and I said to the girls in the office, well, it was faded.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's not good enough for them. They said to me, our grade men deserve better. So I got it up and it's fine and it's beautiful.
And they do,
Lauren, you got something back here?
What are we processing in this fee? We're calling it processing fee. What's being processed other than normal situations when somebody purchases property?
We have to transfer it from one person's name to the next and charging you $500 to do it.
$500 to transfer a name.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna go on record to let you guys know. That stuff was tried with me 3 different times. It's not in writing or anything of the sort, at least it wasn't then. I refused to pay. Not a thing could be done. So I want you all to think about that.
You still owe me money?
I don't owe you nothing.
And I will take you to court and I will give you,
You do that, bud.
okay?
You do that.
Meathead.
Sorry. Oh, am I sorry? Am I a meathead?
Sorry, no, I was talking.
Yeah.
You say foreclosure property or something.
Only if you buy it at a tax sale. And we wipe thousands of dollars of dues away from it. It's a very minute amount of money, Lauren, to pick up a tax sale.
Mr. Meathead to you two guys up here.
Okay.
Mr. Meathead.
Okay, I will continue to call you that if that's what you want.
All I'm asking
Yes,
is,
ma'am.
what is the processing fee for? Transfer a name for $500? Can't you come up with a better excuse?
Please. Where's forgiveness be called, whatever you like.
So I can speak to that. I bought a piece of property a year and a half ago through a tax sale. I did my due diligence, I went to an attorney and I had a title search. So not only did the POA, the Water Authority, Sewage Authority, everyone had a specific fee that was charged, and I was charged $500. That was a known value. So, you know, it's nothing new, it's nothing special. Before I got on the board, that's what I experienced. It wasn't taxes.
Yes, ma'am, young lady.
It is not required for the POA to forgive those. POA didn't used to forgive that until they realized that taxes, they go up to tax sale. As the fees accumulate, nobody's buying those properties. So you're going to accumulate more and more dues, more and more water and sewer fees, more and more taxes, and they will sit there forever and no one will benefit. So the POA made a decision to write the costs off, and they have they're doing a favor to the property owners association, because putting them back into circulation. There's a much better chance of them selling, and it's a great thing. I know years ago you had some and told them. We encourage people to do that. Because it helps the POA, it helps the community to have a better, things get cleaned up. But they're losing money. So they're doing this as a benefit to the POA, as a benefit to the buyer, as a benefit to the community to turn these properties over. And so it does take some, there's paperwork involved, but it's also to make it worth their while in some respect. But Water and Sewer Company didn't do this until after the POA did it, and they realized that they weren't going to get anything either. It's to get these properties moving.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Attorney. Make a motion.